Hello, everyone. Welcome back. They were the ones who opened routes that had never been drawn on any map. From rolling oceans to vast deserts, from icy mountain peaks to untamed jungles. They ventured into uncharted lands, bringing back stories that changed the way humanity sees the world. Number 1. Marco Polo, 1254 to 1324, whose full name was Marco Emilio Polo, was the most famous Venetian explorer and merchant of the Middle Ages. He undertook a nearly 24-year journey along the Silk Road, serving at the court of Cablayan and recording his experiences in the travels of Marco Polo. This work introduced the mysterious East to Europe and inspired many later explorers, including Christopher Columbus. Number 2. Christopher Columbus, 1451 to 1506, was a Genoese explorer who served under the Spanish crown of Ferdinand II and Isabella I on 4 transatlantic voyages funded by the royal court. He reached the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, believing he had arrived in Asia. Columbus is regarded as the first to discover the Americas for Europe, ushering in the age of exploration and territorial expansion. He died in Valladolid in 1506. Leaving a legacy both celebrated and controversial. Number 3. Ferdinand Magellan, 1480 to 1521, was a Portuguese navigator who served under the Spanish crown of King Charles I. He led the first expedition to circum the globe, proving that the Earth is round and its oceans interconnected. Though he was killed in the Philippines in 1521, his crew completed the voyage, ushering in the era of global maritime exploration. Magellan's legacy endures as a symbol of courage and the boundless spirit of discovery. Number 4. Bartolomé Dias, around 1450 by 1500. A Portuguese explorer, served King John II during Portugal's Age of Discovery. In 1488, he led the first expedition to round the southern tip of Africa, opening the sea route to the Indian Ocean. He died in 1500 during Pedro Alvarez Cabral's expedition when his ship was wrecked in a storm near the Cape of Good Hope. Das's legacy lies in paving the way for the Europe to Asia maritime trade route, transforming the course of global navigation. Number 5. Jacques Cartier, 1491 to 1557. A French explorer, served King Francis I during the era of New World exploration. Between 1534 and 1542, he made 3 voyages across the Atlantic, mapping the Gulf of St. Lawrence and laying the foundation for France's claim to Canada. Cartier also introduced the name Canada from the Iroquoian language. He died in Saint-Malo in 1557. His legacy was the beginning of France's colonial history in North America, shaping the region's map for centuries to come. Number 6. Roald Amundsen, 1872 to 1928, was a Norwegian polar explorer famed for his pioneering expeditions. He was the first to navigate the Northwest Passage 1903 to 1906 and led the successful 1911 expedition to the South Pole, beating rival Robert Scott. Amundsen later explored the Arctic by air in 1928. He disappeared during a rescue flight in the Arctic. He is regarded as one of the greatest explorers in history. Number 7. Robert Falcon Scott, 1868 to 1912. A British naval officer and explorer, served in the Royal Navy. He led 2 Antarctic expeditions, Discovery 1901 to 1904 and Terran Nova 1910 to 1913. In 1912, Scott reached the South Pole only to find Roald Amundsen had arrived first. He and his team died on the return journey due to extreme weather. His journals captured courage, sacrifice, and determination, making Scott a poignant symbol of the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. Number 8. Ernest Shackleton, 1874 to 1922. A British explorer of Irish descent, served in the Royal Navy. He took part in 3 Antarctic expeditions, most famously the Endurance Voyage, 1914 to 1917, during which he led his entire crew to safety after their ship was trapped and crushed by ice. Shackleton died in 1922 on South Georgia Island during another expedition. His legacy endures as a model of courageous leadership and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds, inspiring generations of explorers. Number 9. Zheng He, 1371 to 1433. A Chinese explorer and admiral served the Ming dynasty under the Yonggao and Zhuan emperors. He commanded 7 great treasure fleet voyages, 1405 to 1433, that reached Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean, the Middle East, and East Africa, expanding trade and diplomatic ties. Zheng, who died in 1433, possibly at sea on his return voyage. His legacy endures as a symbol of Ming China's maritime power and global vision during the early 15th century. Number 10. David Livingstone, 1813 to 1873, a Scottish explorer and missionary, served with the London Missionary Society. He made extensive expeditions across Africa, discovering Victoria Falls and searching for the Nile's source. Livingstone combined evangelism with a campaign against the slave trade, earning respect among local communities. He died in 1873 in present-day Zambia during an expedition. His legacy endures as a humanitarian explorer whose motto of Christianity, commerce, and civilization symbolized 19th century European engagement with Africa. Number 11. Henry Morton Stanley, 1841 to 1904. A Welsh-born explorer who became an American citizen, worked as a journalist for the New York Herald. He gained fame in 1871 with the words "Dr. Livingstone, I presume, author," upon finding David Livingstone in Africa. Stanley led extensive expeditions along the Congo River, paving the way for Belgian colonial expansion. He died in London in 1904. His legacy is a mix of groundbreaking exploration and controversy over his role in the era of imperialism in Africa. Number 12. Amerigo Vespucci, 1454 to 1512, an Italian explorer and navigator, served both the Spanish and Portuguese crowns during the Age of Discovery through voyages to the New World, 1497 to 1504. He realized these lands were part of a new continent, not Asia as Columbus had believed. Vespucci's accounts helped European maps define the New World. He died in Seville in 1512. His name was immortalized when it was given to the Americas, securing his place in history. Number 13. Sir Francis Drake, around 1540 to 1596, an English explorer, naval officer, and crown-sanctioned privateer, served under Queen Elizabeth I. He became the first Englishman to circum the globe, 1577 to 1580, and played a pivotal role in defeating the Spanish Armada in 1588. Drake was also notorious for raiding Spanish ships and ports in the Americas. In 1596, during a Caribbean campaign, he fell gravely ill and died off the coast of Panama, bringing an end to a career marked by both glory and controversy. Number 14. Alexander von Humboldt, 1769 to 1859, a Prussian explorer and scientist, was a pioneer of modern geography and natural sciences. During his South American expedition, 1799 to 1804, he climbed Mount Chimborazo, charted the Orinoco River, discovered the link between climate and vegetation, and mapped the Humboldt Current. The vast data he gathered transformed global knowledge. Humboldt died in Berlin in 1859, leaving an invaluable legacy of exploration and science that still inspires researchers worldwide. Number 15. Sir Edmund Hillary, 1919 to 2008, a New Zealand mountaineer and explorer, was part of the 1953 British Everest expedition on May 29, 1953, alongside Tenzing Norgay. He became one of the first 2 people to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Hillary also took part in Antarctic expeditions and devoted himself to charitable work in Nepal, building schools and clinics for the Sherpa people. He died in Auckland in 2008, leaving a legacy of exploration and humanitarian service. Number 16. Tenzing Norgay, 1914 to 1986, the legendary Sherpa mountaineer from Nepal, was part of the 1953 British Everest expedition on May 29, 1953, alongside Edmund Hillary. He became one of the first 2 people to stand atop Mount Everest. Before that, Tenzing took part in several earlier attempts on Everest and was revered for his exceptional guiding skills. He died in Darjeeling, India in 1986, leaving a legacy as a symbol of determination, courage, and Sherpa pride. Number 17. Vitus Bering 1681 to 1741. A Danish explorer and naval officer, served the Russian Empire under Peter the Great and Empress Anna. He led 2 Kamchatka expeditions exploring the waters between Siberia and North America and proving they were separate. In 1741, on the return voyage, he was stranded on a desolate island later named after him and died of scurvy. His geographic legacy endures with the Bering Sea and Bering Strait bearing his name. Number 18. Thor Heyerdahl, 1914 to 2002. A Norwegian explorer and anthropologist, became famous for the 1947 Kiki expedition, sailing a balsa-wood raft from Peru to Polynesia to demonstrate the possibility of ancient trans-oceanic contact. He also undertook voyages on the reed boats Ra and Tigris to study prehistoric seafaring. Heyerdahl died in Italy in 2002, leaving a legacy of daring exploration and groundbreaking cross-cultural research. Number 19. Samuel de Champlain. Around 1574 to 1635, a French explorer and crafter, served under Kings Henry IVDH and Louis I XIII. He made multiple voyages to North America, founding Quebec in 1608 and earning the title Father of New France. Champlain explored the St. Lawrence River, Lake Champlain, and forged alliances with indigenous tribes. He died in Quebec in 1635, leaving a major legacy in Canadian history and in France's colonial expansion in the Americas. Number 20. John Hanning Speke, 1827 to 1864. A British explorer and army officer, is best known for leading East African expeditions with Richard Francis Burton. In 1858, he identified Lake Victoria as the source of the Nile, sparking major scientific debate of the era. On the eve of presenting his findings to the Royal Geographical Society, Speke died suddenly in a shooting accident in 1864, leaving a significant legacy in the history of African exploration. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and hit subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting content.